Shadow work. I'm sure you've heard of it, but you haven't heard my take on it and how it relates to manifesting and how it can show up in very subtle and subconscious ways that on the surface could look like self-sabotage. And it can even look like, hey, maybe there's this thing inside you that likes the struggle. Maybe there's a part of you that is addicted to suffering because you just can't seem to break out of these repeating patterns. You bring your desires in only to push them back out. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what your shadow is and exactly what shadow work really is and how it can completely transform your manifestations. So stay tuned till the end. You won't want to miss it. I'm going to explain how not doing this work can lead to unconscious self-sabotage and how integrating your shadow could actually be the key you're missing to manifesting your best life effortlessly. Yes, it's that powerful. If you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I help you wake up each day feeling empowered, feeling like you have the world at your fingertips, because you do. And we do this by peeling back the false layers of programming, integrating the hidden parts of yourself, and returning you back to the peace and power of remembering the truth of who you really are. So let's start with a common misconception about repeating patterns and about self-sabotage that I see a lot of people struggling with, and that is self-sabotage isn't because you hate yourself secretly or you're secretly addicted to suffering in some way. This is what I see some people, the conclusion they come to. I see my clients commonly feeling this way because they struggle to break these patterns that are causing the sabotage. And so it leads them to think, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I keep doing this? But here's the thing, it's actually a deeply subconscious or unconscious mechanism that happens pretty much automatically as a protection mechanism. And it keeps showing up until you shine a light on it. Or as Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious. Your shadow isn't evil. It's not this dark demon living inside of you. Your shadow is essentially every part of you that you were taught is unacceptable, unlovable, and basically not okay. Which none of that was ever true, by the way. But basically, your shadow is every part of you that was unsafe because it meant being rejected or being denied love. And when we're young and still developing, being safe and being loved is very necessary. It's imperative to our survival. So we learn very quickly how to hide and reject and deny the parts of ourselves that risk our safety and risk our ability to be loved. And therefore the shadow begins to get created inside of us through these parts of ourselves that we learned are unlovable and are basically unsafe to show to the world. The shadow is the parts of yourself that you learned, if I show this, I lose love. So now let's look at what shadow work really is. Shadow work isn't about healing, and it's not about fixing anything because you're not broken. It's about bringing suppressed and denied parts of yourself back to the light and back into the whole. Your shadow isn't evil, like I've already said, and it's not broken. It's simply the denied and rejected aspects of yourself. This can include things like emotions, memories, qualities you've buried because they didn't fit your idea, or I should say someone else's idea, of who you needed to be loved. But the shadow doesn't operate the way we hope that it does, or we hope that it will. It operates the exact opposite way, actually. So all the parts that you ignore, suppress, and deny within yourself, they don't disappear and they don't stay hidden back into the dark corners, into the shadows like we want them to. They project out into our reality. They get put on display instead of being hidden. They show up as patterns, as people, and problems in our 3D reality. And they will show up in abundance, usually repeating patterns and occurrences that seem extremely, sort of abundant and extremely annoying. So when you suppress a part of you, it appears as others judging you for that very thing. Or it can also show up as you judging the other for this thing. So it shows up this way because you're already rejecting that part of you. And so that is being mirrored to you in your external reality through the other person judging you or rejecting that part of you. So some examples: when you suppress shame, it appears as failure. When you suppress unworthiness, it can show up as someone not choosing you. So shadow work is simply becoming conscious of the unconscious or suppressed parts of you and bringing those rejected parts back into the whole, allowing them to be a part of the whole. Your shadow doesn't want to ruin your life. Again, it's not this dark force operating inside of you. It simply wants to be accepted and integrated. All it wants is to be integrated back into the whole, to not be rejected, because all of you is right and good and acceptable. There's not one part of you that deserves to be rejected, denied, or banished. The beautiful thing about shadow work is that it is as simple as shining a light on it. Just like you would a real shadow. What happens when you turn on the light? The shadows disappear. Well, it's the same with your internal shadow. When you shine the light, your light of awareness, on the shadow, it disappears. It integrates. The moment you bring awareness to that part of you and meet it with love and acceptance and the energy of acceptance, the energy that was trapped and suppressed inside of that part of you that you were denying starts to become available again for creation. It's a beautiful, transformative thing. So here's how to start with shadow integration. Step number 1 is notice your triggers. Anything that brings up a strong emotion or reaction, such as jealousy, annoyance, judgment, this is your shadow, right? This is the cause behind these strong feelings and emotions. Instead of reacting or continuing to blame and look out there as the cause, understand deeper what's going on. And understand that this is an insight into what you've suppressed within. Step number 2, remember, what I judge in another, I've suppressed within myself. Everything you judge out there is something you've judged within. And therefore, as a result of that internal judgment, suppressed and pushed down and denied. So ask yourself, when you find yourself judging, which part of myself is being denied in order for me to feel this judgment? Step number 3, reintegrate the part of you that has been banished. Once you identify the part of yourself that you previously were denying, simply acknowledge that part of you also exists, and that part is allowed to exist, and it is allowed to be part of you. This is integration. This is bringing it back into the whole and simply allowing it to be there and allowing it to be okay. That's all you have to do. Shine your light of awareness, your love, your acceptance on it, and the shadow integrates. And when you integrate the shadow, you stop needing to control reality so much. You stop chasing external validation because you've already accepted the parts of you that once felt unworthy or that you once deemed as unacceptable and therefore needed out there to accept them. You'll stop needing other people to accept the parts of you that you yourself deny, which can never happen anyway, right? That's when manifestation becomes effortless, as I teach on this channel, because your inner world is no longer being fragmented and seeking validation and acceptance from outside that it could never receive inside, which again, as I just said, never actually works. When every part of you feels safe to exist, your consciousness becomes coherent and creation flows naturally. You no longer manifest from lack, you manifest from wholeness and completeness. So here's an example from one of my clients. She kept manifesting partners who would lose interest the moment things got, sort of close, the moment she got close. She thought she was doing something wrong, but when we went deeper and took a closer look at what was going on, we found the belief that she held, which was, if I'm truly seen, I'll be abandoned. So once she brought this shadow to the light, once she confronted that part of herself that she was trying to keep hidden, and she accepted that part, knowing that that part gets to be loved and accepted too, her energy shifted completely. She stopped chasing, she stopped fearing being seen, and she stopped needing the validation and acceptance from outside sources because she was already giving that to herself. She was already giving that acceptance to herself. And within weeks of doing this integration, she attracted a connection that matched her newfound wholeness within. And that's how effortless manifestation gets to be when you do this type of inner work. It is highly transformative. So if you've been doing all the techniques but still feeling stuck, this is your sign to stop trying to manifest around your shadow and start manifesting through wholeness. You don't need to be perfect to create, you just need to be whole. And if you're ready to go deeper to actually release the subconscious patterns of self-sabotage that keep perpetuating patterns and keep you looping in the same negative experiences, then I invite you to work inside of my 1-month intensive coaching program. In this program, we dive directly into the subconscious blueprint. We get to the root of your shadow parts and do the work to integrate them. And we rewrite the unfavorable stories that have been running your life on autopilot. You'll walk away with an integrated self-concept, emotional peace, and the ability to manifest from wholeness, which is, as I've been saying throughout, so powerful. You can find the link to sign up in the description down below. There's also a link in the pinned comment. There's also a link to book a free consultation with me. I'm offering this for a limited time, so definitely jump on that offer and book that call. If you have any questions or if you aren't sure, go ahead and sign up for that call. I won't be offering it forever, so now's your chance. And get started with this integration work. It's so profound and it's so powerful, and I love doing this work and watching the transformation with my clients. So thank you all so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video.